Hi guys, it's Chris at Ink Something Crafty, and today I am showing how to make just the inside. I am going to finish the outside of this, but I'm going to show you how I created this inside pop-up card. It has two pop-ups. It's kind of hard to show from this angle, but the Ferris wheel actually turns. It works much better when it's vertical. It has this little gusset in here that the wheel can kind of fit in and allows it to turn. And then we have this happy birthday pop-up as well. So this week, LLLC Crafts design team is creating die-only cards. And so I decided to create an inside pop-up. And I was inspired by Jenny's tutorial about 3 weeks ago, where she created this one using the gumball machine and I believe the candy jars from our sweets release. And so this would be the center of her card, and it pops up like this when you open the card. And I decided to do that with the Ferris wheel, but in order for the Ferris wheel to actually be able to move, we needed to separate the bottom part of it. So I came up with this, which is basically Jenny's mechanism for creating this one, but we don't glue the middle part together. We just let it open up naturally like this. So there is that space in between, and I will show you up close a little bit better. It doesn't allow you to open it up all the way, which is good. So it just is opened up enough for this to be able to spin around, and when it's sideways like that, it doesn't like to do it. But when it's vertical, it goes around quite nicely. Okay, so the dies that I used for this are the Ferris wheel die. It's a 2-piece die set. LLLC Crafts has a lot of these layered word dies now. This one is the layered happy birthday die. The letters do come attached to the shadow. You can either snip them apart with your metal snips, which is what I did. Some of them I left just in one piece because I do like to have the letters cut out of the shadow, but either way, you can have it either or you could buy 2 sets and have them both ways. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with 2 pieces of cardstock. This larger one is 8.5 by 6.5, and the smaller one is 3.5 by 6.5. So we are going to score these. The smaller one we're going to score along the shorter side of the top. We're going to score at 1/2 inch, and I'm actually going to do it on this side since it's easier. So I'm going to score this at 3.5. That gives us a 1/2 inch flap there, and that's all we're going to do with this one. And then this longer piece, we're going to score across the long side at 1/2 inch, 2 inches, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and 4. So we're done scoring that. I think we're done with the scoring overall. Okay, so now we're going to fold this. So the 1/2 inch fold goes up, and you can go ahead and burnish that one. The other scores we don't want to burnish because we want a little bit of fanning out when you open the card with this next one. So the next score line is also going to be a valley fold, and then we're going to start accordion folding it. So valley, then the next one is a mountain, the next is a valley, then a mountain, and a valley. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. Okay, and then we bring in our smaller piece, and we're going to fold that flap up and go ahead and burnish that one. And then we're going to glue these together, but first what we want to do is some die cutting. So we're going to set this aside for a minute. And then we have the layered happy birthday die. It is 2 pieces, so we have the shadow and the letters. And I've gone ahead and cut this out of blue. So I've got a solid shadow, and then I cut it again out of the same blue, and then I layered. Before I ran this, I did it all at the same time. So I put this on my cardstock. Let's just have a piece of black here, for instance. And then I put the happy birthday in there, and you can run them through at the same time. Put a little piece of low tack tape on there so it stays in place, cuts it just in the right spot, and you end up with this. And so I'm going to show you, this is just my easier way of being able to know where my letters go, but it also serves another purpose, and you'll see in just a moment. So we're going to bring this back in, and what we want to do is glue this right in between these 2 pieces, these 2 flaps. So we want to have it just a little bit in, maybe like a 1/16 of an inch here from the edge. And we want it to be down just right above that fold line. And we want to make sure it's straight. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my glue, and I'm going to glue this whole flap like this. Whoop. And I'm also going to put glue on this flap. Okay, so I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to place that right down there. Make sure you don't go over this fold line here, and you want to make sure that this is straight. I'm using art glitter glue. It dries pretty fast, and this is why we want to have glue on this tab too, because this is going to sandwich that shadowed happy birthday right in there. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my bone folder and go over this really well so the glue spreads out and adheres really well. Do this side as well. Okay, for the next part, I'm going to glue this one right on top, and this purple ledge right here is going to be covered up when we start filling in the letters. So, but I wanted to not lose the bottom part of this birthday, so that's why I cut this one out, and we're just going to sandwich that on top, and then we can plug in our letters. I'm going to try to line up the top of it since I don't have the bottom to know where to line that up with. If I line up the top, then it will be right. Oops. Right there. Whoops. Flipping it everywhere here. Okay. There we go. Get that down real good. Okay, and then I went ahead and die cut the happy birthday letters out of 5 different colors, and I'm just going to mix and match and piece these into my happy birthday. So I will put some music on, and you can just watch this or not. You can, I'll probably speed this part up. Okay, so there we have our happy birthday pop-up. It'll look like that. Okay, and now we want to work on our Ferris wheel. So for the next one, I am not going to add glue. Let's set these aside for now. I'm not going to add glue to this next one. I want it to kind of fan out like this because here's our little Ferris wheel. We want there to be space at the bottom so it can actually turn. So this will be kind of a fun element if it works. So I cut out 2 of the purple Ferris wheels. Okay, it's double-sided, and I cut out 4 of these green pieces, the base, and I glued 2 on top of each other for each one just to make it a little bit more sturdy. And this one I actually used a heavy acetate, which proved very difficult trying to cut through all of that because I did use a self-adhesive sheet in between the green paper and the acetate before I die cut it. So I would recommend either using a lighter weight acetate or just using 2 pieces of the green cardstock, which is probably what I will do next time. So, and then I actually cut, because of these little car things will not line up, and I don't really have a sample, but they didn't line up. So what I did was on the second purple Ferris wheel, I cut right around this circle and then glued that onto the back side of the first one. Okay, and then what I did was I cut out all 5 colors of the Ferris wheel so that I can use them to cut out the little cars. So I've got just various cars. I did try to line up exactly which car went where, but it really didn't matter as long as you cut really close lines around them. So I've got a little bit of the purple ones, pink, green, yellow, orange, and blue. And like I said, I cut those and did them on both sides and just kind of alternated the colors and glued those on. And then I put a brad through the holes. The holes will line up. And then before you put your separate your little prongs on the back, what I did was I took my little tweezers and I just kind of opened them up there and folded this over onto it, and that gives it a little bit of a spacer, so there's more room for the wheel to turn, so it's not real tight. Okay, so this is going to turn like that. It turns better when it's vertical. Okay, so once we have that piece, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this side to this tab and the front to the front of this tab, like this. Okay, so when the card opens, it'll allow a little space right in the middle, and then this valley fold in the middle allows that middle part to spin like that. Okay, so what we want to do is make sure that it's not extending past this edge. So we want to place it down like this. I'm just going to move this one out of the way. You want to put it right down into that fold so that will come up to it. Okay, and I can see that we don't have this bar here is not going to be glued because it sticks up above that tab. So I'm going to just put the glue, I'm going to turn this so I can do this a little bit better. I'm going to put the glue right in here. Whoop. Let's It's moving on me. Okay, so we want to put it right in here, and I'm going to even put it on this little bar and in between here because we want it to be in there really well. Okay, so again, you want to be in from the edge a little bit. You want to put it down in there, so I'm just going to kind of push it down into that crease while I push this up to it. Put it down here so I don't get glue all over the other piece of cardstock. So while that glue dries, it's not sticking to the back of my card. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to add glue to this. And then stick that back in there. I'm going to lay this like this. And very carefully bring this one up. You want to make sure that that green part is lined up with the green one underneath it. I'm getting glue everywhere. There might be a better way to do this, folks. I don't know. This is just my thinking. I want to put that up to it like that. My greens are lined up. And then I need another piece of wax paper. Oops. I've got another sheet of the wax paper. I'm going to put on there like that. Maybe that'll be good enough. And just kind of take my bone folder and rub it. Get that glued well. So now we have that, and our Ferris wheel works really well. And now what I want to do, so then it will fold right in the middle of that. It's going to fold, and it's going to push this front layer down, and it will fold like that for putting in your envelope. Okay. And that is a, let's see, 4.5 by 6.5 inch card, 4.5 by 6.5. Now you could just put it in once you decorate the front, and I'm not going to decorate the front in this video. That will come later. So, but you can make a belly band for this if you would like, and that will help this stay closed as you pull it out of the envelope. Or you can just do it like this, pull it out of your envelope, and then open it, and it will open up like that. You might have to push this up a little bit, but yeah, and that's what that looks like. So next I'm going to finish off the inside with some designer paper, some pattern paper from the Candy Shop paper pack, and I'm going to use these this design with the flags. I actually used 2 pieces. They're polka dot on the back, but I really liked the look of this flag paper, and so it's going to have about a quarter of an inch all the way around it. These are cut at this one. Let's see, this one is 4 by 6. This front one is 2.5 by 6. So then our card would open up like this, and you would have the happy birthday and your Ferris wheel. So that is all I have for you today. So thank you so much for watching, and ink something crafty. Bye.